Jason Violeta.
And I'm Miss Parasan.
And I'm Harry Kiano.
We are here today to do a book review
Entitled Wuthering Heights by Emily Jane Brontë. But before anything else, let us appreciate and acknowledge the background of the author.
Brief author's background.
The author, Emily Jane Brontë, was born in 1818 in England. She was the daughter of the curate of Haworth in West Yorkshire. Emily was the third eldest child of her father. She was an English novelist and poet who was best known for her novel, this is what we call Wuthering Heights. Emily began her education at Roe Head Girls' School, but later left the school due to homesickness. And trivia, homesickness is the feeling of emotional distress when you are unfamiliar in your environment and when you are away from your home. So you're having an unfamiliarity. So her sudden development of sickness resulting from tuberculosis cost her life in 1848. So he died in the year 1848.
Summary of the story.
Moving on, let us now focus on the summary of Wuthering Heights. So the summary of Wuthering Heights started when Mr. Earnshaw adopted an orphan, a young boy named Heathcliff. So Mr. Earnshaw has two children named Catherine and Henry. So Henry doesn't like Heathcliff. He always bully and tease Heathcliff. When Mr. Earnshaw sent away Henry for school, Heathcliff and Catherine became close to each other. So eventually, they grew up and developed a mutual feeling for each other. When Mr. Earnshaw died, Henry came back home with his wife named Frances, and he became the new master or owner of all the property under Mr. Earnshaw. So basically, Henry treated Heathcliff like a servant. One night, Heathcliff and Cathy went to the house of Edgar secretly. They were spying and laughing at Edgar because of how he dances. When they left, they were chased by the dog that resulted to the injury of Cathy. Edgar told Heathcliff that they will send home Cathy once she is fully recovered. After that, Heathcliff and Cathy had some misunderstanding. At some point, maybe Heathcliff felt jealous towards Edgar because they spent time together. Then after that, Edgar asked Cathy to marry him. Cathy didn't answer it right away because she knew to herself that her heart is belonged to Heathcliff. Cathy was pressured on whom he wants to be with. Edgar is more likely to choose by Cathy because according to her, Edgar is rich, handsome, and pleasant to be with, while Heathcliff is far opposite to what Edgar has. That moment, Heathcliff already knew that Cathy and Edgar will marry soon. That is why he left from their house and went to the place that is far away from them. 3 years later, Cathy and Edgar got married. On the reception, Cathy noticed a boy that is spying on them from the window. Cathy thought that the boy wanted some food to eat, so she went outside and gave a food to a young boy. And then, a young boy gave a piece of note to Cathy with a message on it that says, "I know you have betrayed me." Cathy asked the young boy, who was the one who gave the letter. The boy responded, someone asked him to give it to her. However, Cathy already knew that it was Heathcliff. The day has come. After many years of silence, Heathcliff came back with a different version of himself. He gained wealth and became a rich man.
On the other hand, Henry became addicted to alcohol drinks, and it started when his wife died after giving birth to their son, which is Hareton. So Heathcliff took advantage the weakness of Henry and used his money to stay on the old room of Cathy in their house. So Heathcliff also let Henry sign an agreement while he was drunk. So it stated there that Heathcliff is the first purchaser on the land that Henry may wishes to sell. So Edgar has a sister. Her name is Isabella and she has a feelings for Heathcliff. So Heathcliff used her as a tool to his quest to revenge to Linton family. One day, Cathy got sick and already dying because of disease. On that time, she was already pregnant. Unfortunately, she died after giving birth to her daughter. Her name is also Catherine. Heathcliff was heartbroken and in extreme sadness when he found out that Cathy died. So Linton has born the son of Isabella and Heathcliff. Linton grew up and eventually married to a girl named Catherine. so which is the daughter of Catherine and Edgar. Linton didn't last long and he eventually died. So in the end, Hareton, the son of Hindley and Frances, got married to first cousin, which is Catherine. So after how many years, the feeling of Heathcliff for Cathy have never faded and lost. So he still loves Cathy to the point that sometimes he can see the soul of Cathy. But he eventually died and he was buried beside of Cathy.
Moving on, let us now move or proceed to the comments on plot.
Comments on plot, conflicts and complications.
Next, conflicts and complications. Personally, Heathcliff's great natural abilities and his strength of character and love for Catherine Earnshaw all enable him to raise himself from humble beginning to the status of a wealthy gentleman. However, his need to revenge for Henley's abuse and Catherine's betrayal leads him into twisted life of cruelty. So basically, he let his anger succumb him to the point that he only seeks revenge.
Okay, now let's move on to the structure of the plot.
Style.
The style. Wuthering Heights is written in a lyrical and a poetic style. So many critics have pointed out that Bronte's use of romantic, imaginary, and emotional dialogue in a novel harkens back to her previous work as a poet. So the characters' emotional intensity is revealed through their passionate feelings and dark events, so which is unusual for a Victorian novel. So the structure of the Wuthering Heights has a strong influence on its style as well. So the novel is essentially Lockwood's diary, and it contains both his own recollection of events and retelling of events. So as told him by Nellie. Other characters such as Catherine and Heathcliff are also directly quoted. The next is atmosphere. So atmosphere, stormy, unpleasant weather also dominates the setting. So according to Lockwood, the term wuthering refers to the atmospheric tumult to which his station is exposed in stormy weather. So the action takes place in a small, isolated, and wild area dominated by two grand estates owned by neighboring families. So this setting allows for an intense and focused plot centered on a small cast of characters. So because of the Heights' geographical isolation, many conventional social rules do not appear to apply. So the next is symbolism. The symbolism, the title Wuthering Heights represent the opposing themes of liberty and the nature versus darkness and gloom. So initially, it represents freedom from materialism and enjoy in the beauty of the outdoors and nature. Wuthering Heights represents the darkness and the gloom after Mr. Earnshaw's death and Cathy, their departure. So it likes the moors on which is built becomes inhospitable to human warmth and resonate with Heathcliff's stormy, dark, and violent temperament. One of these examples are the ghosts of Cathy. So ghosts are spirits used to represent souls, memory, and the past in Wuthering Heights. So the symbols represent different themes, love and obsession. Cathy ghost disturbs Heathcliff based on the stored memory of the shared past. So the love of Cathy turns into an obsession for the revenge. So Heathcliff and Cathy curses fought each other no peace. So they rejected heaven and God. So the two were angry with each other and proclaimed no peace in life or death. So this explains why their spirits and souls were wandering, hunting, or getting hunted. So ghosts cannot separate from the good or evil.
Figure of speech.
So the next is the figure of speech. So the figure of speech, in her novel, Brontë make a wide use of such figure of speech, such as metaphor, simile, personification, imagery, irony, hyperbole. So Emily Brontë, Wuthering Heights, discuss on how an attention to figurative language can help in an analysis of literary text as I enjoyed reading the text and the many qualities that made it such as enjoyable read. So when we read something, we usually take it as it is, but that is exactly what figurative language is not. So when we read certain expressions or words with a different meaning, it is known as figurative language, so which is different from literal interpretation. So figurative language goes beyond the meaning of the words that we read, which give us, the readers, a greater insight into peace.
3 predictions. As how you thought the story would have ended while you were reading the text halfway through.
Okay, Mr. Midspar, what was your prediction while reading the novel halfway through?
Well, my prediction was this. While reading the novel of Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë, I thought Heathcliff and Cathy will end up together and will live a happily ever after. However, the fate in their lives did not agree on the way that they wanted.
Yes, I agree. I thought that so. I thought that Heathcliff and Cathy would end up together. However, they are really not meant to be and they met at the wrong time. And I also predict that while reading the novel, I thought that after arriving Heathcliff, after 3 years, I thought that he would find a way to bring Cathy back in his life and continue their love story. However, the fate in their lives did not agree on them. How about you, Harry?
Well, personally, my prediction while reading the novel Wuthering Heights, in the middle of the story, I thought Heathcliff will eventually kill Edward because of his anger and Catherine's betrayal. However, instead, it did not happen because Edgar eventually died due to some sickness.
That will be the end of our book review, and
Thank you for watching and listening.
Bye-bye!